Hi, my name's Stephanie. For those of you who don't know me, I talk about intentional living, using planners to do so, and today I'll be talking about resetting my life. Like for most of us, it's been a really hard 3 years. And I've been struggling this year to find planner peace. And I've gone through A6, Pocket, Personal, and I'm right now finding my way into an A5 planner. I even bought myself a tablet last December and started digital planning. And while I love setting up the planner and doing all the things planner related in the digital planner, it's a lot of fun. For me, it wasn't very useful. It wasn't very practical. I'm a very visual person, so out of sight, out of mind. My tablet was never open when I would glance at it, and it's very different than having a paper planner that stares at you and condescends you for not doing your jobs and your tasks and moving things forward. I also tried lots of different inserts, thinking my problem, it wasn't me, it was my inserts are not working for me. So off to Etsy and download all the things. And I still couldn't find the right mindset and the focus and the concentration to actually sit down and plan out my days and plan out my weeks. And I was also feeling a lot lost and kind of confused into which direction my life's going. I had multiple planning sessions where I'm trying to write down my goals for the next 12 months, for the next 5 years. But when you don't have a feeling for the direction that your life is kind of headed in, it's really hard to do these things. So I had a hard time goal setting, and what happened was I found a one-page goal setting worksheet, and that was really useful for me. And I also turned off all the distractions, even music. I almost always have music running in the background. I turned off the music and I just sat there. I wouldn't let myself do anything else except this goal setting session. If I wasn't setting goals or working on this worksheet, then I was just sitting there. And it took nearly all day to get my focus and concentration and to think the hard thoughts and think things through. But I think at the end of the day, it was extremely worthwhile, and it kind of gave me a new focus for my life for the next, I don't know if I'll stay with it, but for the next 12 months, I have a direction that I'm walking. So I think it's really important also to kind of say, you don't have to be at the start of a quarter, the start of a year, the start of a week to get down to business and get your life together. You can jump right in wherever you are. You can take a 12-month planning worksheet and start wherever you are, whatever month you're in. You can start on a Wednesday or on a Saturday. It doesn't have to be a Monday. I came across so many videos because I was watching all the videos, all the things on resetting your life and getting organized and getting your life back together, getting on track. And I kept hearing people talking about struggling with long-term planning, quarter planning, year planning, or annual planning because it's too far out. And so many things can happen. Life happens and you have to be a little more flexible. And I still think that it's important to have annual goals that you're working towards while retaining flexibility within your life to reevaluate where you're going, where you're headed, where you've come from, and if your vision and if your priorities in life have changed or have stayed the same. So that's why I do weekly reviews and I do monthly reviews and quarterly reviews. The different reviews look at different things. So like at the end of a quarter, I've looked if I've reached my quarter goals. And if I haven't, kind of reflect back on why haven't I reached my quarter goals and are they even still relevant to my life? So that's one of the things I'll be re-implementing into my planning. And then to remember too that there's a difference between goal setting and goal planning. They're two different things. So I think it's really important to do those two things kind of separately. So take one session and set your goals, find your clarity, find your vision, find your motto. And then in another session, maybe sit down and plan your goals, maybe even do it in chunks. So do your big planning, your big overview, take your 5-year goals or your 1-year goals, break them up into half-year goals, and Maybe in another session, break those half-year goals into quarter goals and those into monthly goals. And then when you have your monthly goals, it's a lot easier to start. When you get into planning your weeks, you can look at, well, this month I have to reach this and this and this. So that means I have to do week 1, week 2, week 3, week 4, these things in order to reach this monthly goal, which plays into my quarter goals, which plays into my half-year goals, which plays into my annual goals. Just breaking everything down into really manageable chunks and achievable chunks kind of helps with the overwhelm you can feel at your big goals, and helps keep you on track by reducing the amount of vagueness in your goals, so that you have to kind of get really specific once you get to your monthly goals, and then your weekly goals. They get really task specific, so you kind of know where you're moving in. Where if you're just looking at your overall yearly goal, it's a little more difficult to see what you should be doing when, because they're kind of vague. But breaking down your goals into your objectives, the measurable parts of your goals, and then working those objectives into your quarterly, monthly, weekly planning sessions and review sessions, that should help you stay on track, or help me stay on track. That's what I'm counting on, moving back towards these basics. And that's one of the things I kind of learned for myself after downloading all these inserts on Etsy, really all the inserts. Wellness trackers, weekly trackers, daily trackers, all the planning tools that you could find. And now I'm going back to basics. I'm going back to my own inserts, my weekly inserts. Daily inserts are just too low level for me, and they are very distracting to me, and I lose sight of kind of the bigger picture of the week. I'm more of a over prepare and then go with the flow kind of person. So I like to see my whole week at one time, my to-dos. It's a running to-do list for the whole week. Stuff comes up, things get left unfinished, and I hate transferring tasks from one day to the next. So I have them all week, and then I generally get through 80 to 90% of my to-do list. So I'm only transferring 2-3 tasks over to the next week, instead of when I was doing my daily inserts, I was transferring at least 50% of my tasks from day to day, and then you're kind of carrying some over for a week or longer. So this year, so starting in September, I'm kind of using the September for my planning month, my get clarity month, find your vision, find your road month, and then moving into October in 2 weeks, using quarter 4 as my start for the year. And so I'll be tracking quarter 4 2022 and moving into 2023 to the end of quarter 3. That's how my goals are going to be tracked for the upcoming year. I may revise my system in January, just because you know how it is, planner piece and the joy of setting up new planners. But right now my thoughts are that I will be with the A5. I'm working from home now, so I don't have to lug this big old thing around. And I like having the room to write. I write kind of big, and I like using thicker pens than thinner pens. So yeah, moving from my personal planner into an A5 size. But even the personal planner, I was only in it for a couple of weeks. It's too small for me right now. I need to be able to write a lot. I'm still gaining my clarity, so it helps a lot for me to kind of write down my thoughts as they come into my head, and help me keep track of my thoughts, because there's so many right now. And helps me kind of cull what's not needed anymore and cultivate what I would like to keep in my life going forward. So if you'd like, join me on the journey of setting up my A5. I'll be doing my annual goal planning and planning the next few weeks. So I'm going from these guys to this guy. And I haven't been in this one in a long time. Not a big fan of black binders, but I'm waiting on a new one, so I'll transfer everything over once I get my new binder. So what I'm first going to do is transfer over my yearly planning And I will pull out my A5, which I already have started doing. The first thing I'm going to do is write down any missing appointments. So the first thing I've done is transferred all my appointments for the rest of the year and for what I know for the upcoming year, birthdays, onto my yearly overview. So I'm starting in 2022, second half year, and my next half year is 2023. Like I said, you don't have to start a calendar in January, or I started mine in September this year. I backdated it a little bit so that I would have important dates in my calendar. And yeah, so this is ready to go in. And I think I should tell you, I'm a functional planner, not a pretty planner. I don't really use stickers. I do use a post-it note once in a while. And sometimes I take some highlighters and highlight important information, but mostly I stick to pen and my writing. Next thing I'm going to do is take my yearly goals that I did in my goal setting session, and I am going to put them into an annual plan. And this is what my annual goal planning looks like. These are my inserts, by the way. I actually have an Etsy shop that I'll link to below. One of my goals is to share my love of planning with others and share the inserts that I find valuable and helpful for me with other people who might think like me or work like me and find some value in the inserts that I use. So I'll link to that below. So I'm actually not going to break down my yearly goals into half-year goals this year because I've got a quarter. So I'm going to work on quarter goals first of all. And I'm going to use this second half-year part to write down my motto, which should help me achieve my goals this year. My motto this year is take focused action. So I'm trying to reduce the amount of time I spend running around in circles and commit to a direction and pivot if I have to. So I actually do have some third quarter goals, which I have 2 more weeks to do. Pardon me for switching back and forth between pens, but this is a thick tip pen, this is a thin tip pen, and I prefer to write with the thick tip, but it doesn't always fit in my inserts. So I am working on some third quarter goals already, so I'm going to write them down. And my fourth quarter goals. Once I have those quarter goals done, I can actually break them down into the months and those months into the weeks. So this is set up into 4 weeks for each month. So that's my goal planning for the rest of this year. And the only thing that I actually use washi tape for is to reinforce the edges of my paper. I will repunch these. I think I would rather start with doing the monthly overview. My mantra this month is to take focused action. And my top 3 priorities for this month. So, my goals this month. So, those are my monthly goals. And from these monthly goals, I'm now going to write out my task list. Once I have my monthly plan ready to go, I can break this down into smaller pieces. This week, I really want to focus on focusing. that's what's in my head for the moment. Communicate. I have 2 schools I need to reach out to. So when I take these monthly tasks and I put them on a task list for the week, I write a little arrow just so I know that I've moved these to the week. And the habits I will be focusing on this week are working out, walk. I am trying to sleep before midnight every night. I need to take my vitamins every day. I have things, routines that I like to do during the week. It's a little bit of a fly lady system, and I try to keep to that schedule. Here's where I use my digital planner to work with my paper planner. I actually only carry over things that I want to know or see for the whole week so that I don't forget that they're upcoming. I don't actually write all my appointments in my paper planner. I use my Outlook calendar for that. I'm putting in all the important appointments and dates and information that I want to have front and center on my desk for the next few weeks, the stuff that I already know about. And one of the things that I do is the Fly Lady system, kind of. That's zone 1 for this week. Try to keep up with my household duties. And while I'm writing my important dates and appointments down for the next couple of weeks, I'm also thinking about what tasks these will incur. So filling out my task lists, and for the next few days bringing over top priorities from the task list on the left-hand side. I try to keep that to 3 at the most. And then just rechecking that I've carried over all the tasks that are already on my list for the week. And that's about it. I also like to keep birthday cards and sympathy cards and stamps on hand so that I can send those out as needed. And I love this great capsule wardrobe suggestion from Busby Style. I'll put a link down below. If you sign up for her newsletter, she will send you a copy of this, and it's really great to have on hand when you're out shopping or trying to think about what you might need to stock up on. Next thing I'm putting in is my planner routines checklist. I also have this in my shop. I think it's really helpful, or it's helpful for me at least, to have everything written down, all the steps that I should be remembering daily. And I personally don't like to throw anything out, so I'm actually using my 2021 month dividers and just adding cover sheets that you can also find in my shop and just gluing them onto the monthly dividers so that I can reuse them. And then just going through my planners that I've been using the last couple of weeks and months and taking out anything I need from them. I like to use these paper clips so that it's easy to find them current month. But other than that, there's not really anything left in them that I need to put in my new binder. And I think these tab markers are really great. I use them as top tabs, sometimes also as side tabs. They're easy to reposition, you can reuse them, and makes it easy to find the stuff that you're looking for. And that's it. That's my minimal planner setup. And I'd really appreciate it if you enjoyed this video, if you'd like and subscribe. I have a whole bunch of videos planned, and we'll talk to you soon. Bye.